Oh, wow, that like connected very fast. All right, now we wait.
That made me look like I had like a double roll on my neck.
Made you look like it. Oh my gosh, I do not know how you guys get on here from Hawaii, but hello, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to see you guys. Yes!
Look, Rebex is on.
Yeah, we got all the folks. Oh, I'm so excited.
It's like 0 in the morning there.
I know, I don't understand it. Yeah, you're shooting Kona. All the people.
Oh, my island family.
Yay!
Cute.
Yep, the Monday, Carlton is like I feel like all of these are like the real folk that are here every single Monday, but Carlton, I can always be sure. Okay, so before we get into anything, I always have to do my disclaimer.
Anthony's on.
Oh, yes. This is, of course, the way for us to start our week off in a really great space, in a positive space. It's a time for us to connect as a community of makeup artists and of people that just want to better ourselves. And it's going to be so much fun. I actually have theme music for today's guest because I just figured we needed it.
That's perfect, thank you.
So yes, we do have Mr. Daniel Coronado here today, which I am so excited about. I know that you guys are excited. Thanks for being on here with me.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yay!
This is so great. I'm excited.
Danny is sick, I'm not gonna lie. He is dying a slow death, but he's still here, so I appreciate that so much.
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Oh, so nice. And so I think that, today we just want to chit chat. We want to like start our week off in a fun manner and get inspired and the blood flowing. But also like the theme of this week is really about growth and like particularly like growing maybe into a management role or a training role or something like that. And I thought that Danny would be a great guest because he's had such a different journey than I have. And it's interesting because like even when you look at both of our training teams, everyone's had such crazy different journeys. So as well as like the MRSOs on our team. So we definitely want to hear your feedback, but talk about whatever.
Yeah.
This is our time.
Ask us questions.
Did he bring a spoon to he literally was like, okay, what do I need? Oh, I have eyelash curler. So embarrassing. So embarrassing.
It works. It works. You guys will see. And then you're not going to use anything else to curl your lashes.
First of all, I've known you for I don't even know how many years. I live with you and I've never used a spoon to curl my lashes. I'm just so scared.
Don't be.
It looks so scary.
It's like curling a ribbon when you're doing a gift.
I don't curl ribbons. I get the ones that you just stick on.
But yes, I will be showing you guys how to curl your lashes.
All right, so Carlton says it's magic. Eunice also said that it's her mom's fave. I do think, I feel like there's like a Mexican like quality to it. Like a lot of Mexican women do it. That's Eunice's mom is from Mexico.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
My grandma started curling my lashes as a kid because she called me a little baby cow because my lashes were super straight.
Oh, sweet of her.
No. So that's how I learned how to curl them, and I've been doing it ever since.
Nice. Well, yeah, and I'm interested too because I've only ever heard of the Mexican culture doing that. I wonder if outside of that realm anyone else does it, or if it was something that was like homegrown in like Guadalajara or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I prefer lash curler as well because that's what I know how to do. But even some people see like a lash curler and they think of that as like a torture device. Like I always think of like when the Sanderson sisters went into the devil's house or what they thought was the devil's house.
Yeah.
And they're like, a torture chamber, and it's his kitchen. And like I think that when people see eyelash curlers, that's what they think too.
Definitely. And also, like, they just bend my lashes. Like, they just put a 90-degree crease in them. And a spoon actually gives them a nice curl.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still not gonna do it, but I'm excited to see what you do. So speaking of like what will you be doing as far as makeup before this or during this conversation?
I think I'm just gonna show you guys my regular everyday MAC boy beat. My hair is still a little wet, just to keep things real. I usually let my hair air dry while I'm getting ready. So yeah, just show you how to do Daniel Boy Beauty.
Oh, wow! I like that. It's like it's Daniel Boy Beauty TM
That's
trademark
my signature look, and that's
R.
what's going to make me famous.
BT Dubs, he'll be at the bar at VidCon on Friday the 10th.
Come see me.
Carlton actually learned about the spoon in makeup school, right? Yeah, makeup school, like a decade ago. It's so interesting. I feel like there's been multiple times when I've talked about like a random thing within the makeup world that Carlton has been like connected to through makeup school, which is really cool. Like I feel like I was connected with like a makeup artist that ended up being one of his professors. Like there's always like, it's so interesting to see where our lines pass within this community, because even though the community seems so big, especially now with so many people in makeup, it's still so small.
It's really
and I don't think that people realize that, like, you really do have to make connections with everybody, because you never know when you're gonna see them again. You never know when they're gonna be like an account executive at a brand in your mall, or maybe come back to MAC or whatever it may be. Like it's very interesting. I've seen people who maybe haven't worked on relationships as much in the past get really like bit in the butt because
and that has a lot to do with like growth and keeping doors open and things like that as well.
Yeah. Everybody knows somebody. That is truly true. Okay, so I was like, I don't remember where I saw it, but I was on my Explore page, and there was just this like black liner, which I don't do liner all that often, so I was like, I could do a liner today. But then it was all like glitter underneath the eye, but like silver 3D glitter, and I figure like it kind of fits into like the trends of the season, so I was like, I'll try it. If it's ugly, then I'll take it off, but if it isn't, maybe I'll wear it at Update, and that's like a trial run or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing today. The idea of doing a wing liner, though, as I'm trying to be speaking to the people and to you, is making me already regret my decision.
I'm worried for you.
Your skill level just really can't go to where it needs to go.
Skill drill. We'll certify you in liner.
I'm gonna be that girl with like one this way and one that way, and I'm just gonna take a picture like this so nobody knows. That's the trick. Okay, so why don't you? I know like you were in management before. Like, what was your journey in getting into management? Because I was never in management at a counter at a store. Like, I went from being a part-time artist into training. Oh, wow. So I never had that realm. I definitely thought about maybe being a third key or something, but resident trainer came up at the same time, so it didn't happen. But like, what do you feel like, how was your journey to get there? What did you prepare for, and what are some tips that you could give the people?
I mean, I think for me, going to MAC, I just went to MAC to learn how to do makeup. I didn't think that come to 13 years later, I would still be with this phenomenal brand in artist training and development. And I think that my journey was very much the like one step. I started off as a part-time artist, then became full-time, then I became a third key, and then assistant, and then a counter manager.
You were a counter manager?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Macy's Sherman Oaks in 1902.
Back in the Mesozoic era. Oh, dang, I had no idea. Dang, Sherman Oaks, you fancy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I wanted to get into a MAC store, Pro specifically. That just felt like
Pro in LA?
I wanted to get into Pro LA. But that didn't seem like it was going to happen for me.
Okay.
They'd been there for forever. You know, like once you get into a pro store, nobody leaves. It's like the ultimate. But there was a third key position that was available at MAC Pro in Las Vegas. And so I was always told, if you want to grow, you had to go. So
Which sounds so interesting when you really listen to it. Like, if you want to grow, you gotta go. Like, okay, bye. But like, it's true. Like, movement definitely can like make the process go faster.
Mm-hmm. And all of that was just a phenomenal experience, being able to work in Vegas, work with a new team, lead a new team. And after Vegas, I had an opportunity to go to Hawaii as well with the brand. So everything just sort of happened. And I think that always knowing that the most important people in my journey were always my retail managers. Like, you have the support from your trainers, you have the support from your MRSOs, but really having that retail manager who coached you and developed you and gave you the feedback every single day.
Totally.
That was always the most important people in
your day-to-day, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were always there. It's interesting because I know, like, Natalie, she just kind of did that. She moved from the desert down to Orange County. Now she's at Pro South Coast Plaza. And it's such an interesting thought, because I've seen you go all over the place, you know, like go to Vegas, go to Hawaii, go back to Vegas to come here. And I'm the person that stayed in my market, like trained in my market, never like went outside of the space that I was in. And I really had to wait on like luck of like, oh, I hope this position opens, like, and just being ready for it, because I didn't move. And I think that maybe if I would have, like, my journey would have been so different, you know?
I don't think luck really has anything to do with it. I think that
I mean, just like luck that like that position opened. Because I remember in Orange County, like I'm sure a lot of you guys feel like certain ways. Like, I felt like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to watch these people in training die in training before I can get a job. Like, I was thinking like, you know, maybe I could like pop a little arsenic in that, you know, coffee cup at Update and get myself a job. But like, it just seemed like it was gonna take forever, and it just happened to be like good timing that something opened. But who knows if that would have. And it could have been the space where like there's people who have been in training for, you know, 16 years, and you just watch them like, you want to do something else maybe? Like, I think that could be a fun job for me, you know? Like, so I think that that's what I mean by luck, like that it just was good timing.
And I think there are, being in management and having that experience, there have been those people, trainers, who were like, there's something special in you. Like, I see something there. You know, just in regards to artist training and development, or being a leader in any role. And I think that when you have those people in leaderships who recognize that in you, you know, you gotta trust them and know that like there's a plan.
Totally. I think too, like when somebody tells you that, like I come from a different, like, I am a total people pleaser. Like, that's really truly who I am at my core. Like, I like to make people, I don't want to disappoint people. And so when somebody tells me like, I see this in your path, it almost becomes like, not only do I want to do that to prove it for myself, but I don't want to disappoint this person, which makes me push that much harder. And I think that it gives you a little bit more purpose, which is cool. Like, so I think that if you are in management, knowing that those, like, letting people know that you see their potential, like, is so valuable. And so many times I've spoken to people and they've been like, oh, it was this person. This person saw something in me, and that gave me the confidence to see it in myself. And so I think that if you are in a arena of leadership, and leadership doesn't have to be management. Leadership can be a leader as an artist at your location because you're tenured or whatever. If you can let people know, like, I see this in you, I think people really rise to the occasion, because I've really needed leaders in my past to be like, girl, like, you're amazing. You're right here, but I know you could be here. You totally could, and I want to get you there. And I'm like, well, shit, yeah, I could be there. Let's get there, you know? So I think that that's a really interesting thought process that, like, doesn't always, like, go into a lot of people's minds. Like, maybe I should tell that person, like, you're a gem.
Yeah, I think you always have to tell people when you recognize that something special in them. You always have to let them know that they've got it, and if that's what they want, you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard work that is associated with growth in the brand, but you have people to assist you along the way. I will never ever forget Cynthia Rivas telling me in Counter one day, like, I think you could be a trainer. and I'd probably been with a brand like maybe a year, like not that long. And I was like, shahooketh, but it made me think.
Yeah.
And really now being able to be a trainer, having worked in 3 different cities, and still see Cynthia or work with Cynthia backstage.
That's awesome.
It's like it's a full circle moment. And I have that relationship with her now, but also, I want to be that for other artists as well.
I think that's great. I love that right now people are saying like people that have inspired them, and I think that if you do think back to that person that really like got you to that space, maybe reach out to them, like maybe just send them a DM or something and be like, dude, I was just thinking about you today, like you really did open up my eyes to something that I didn't think that I could do, thank you. Like I think that would provide such a great space to start this week and like really make you feel good, and I'm sure make someone else feel really amazing.
Yeah, just a moment of gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for believing in me and investing in me.
Could you imagine if someone sent you that in a DM right now? I'd be like, just like waterworks, like dying. It's so nice to hear those things. Oh, look at Deiko and Esther. Totally. Like, I think that there's so many amazing people that have really shaped who we are, and like that's what I think makes this Mac family so important to us, is that we found who we are here, but a lot of finding ourselves was through the help of individuals that have got us to that space.
Definitely.
I do want to know, like, as you guys are on here, we have such a great group of people. I want to know, like, what are your aspirations? Like, oh yeah, Iris. I feel like Iris is one of those that comes up for like everybody. Like, if you have a one-on-one with Iris, all of a sudden, like, you know what happened in your past life, what your direction is now, how you're going to be a better person, you want to be like her, you want to read her book, like, yeah. I totally get Absolutely. That. But I would like to know, like, your guys' aspirations. Like, do you want to be the best freaking artist you can be, and that's what you want to be? Do you want to be a trainer? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to be in a position that doesn't really exist right now? Like, or maybe is evolving. Like, I know forever, like, my aspirations were to be a senior artist. As soon as I knew what that was, that's where I wanted to be. And I think that even that role is changing so much, and I think that we'll see it evolve, and I'm excited to see what that is. But I think that, I think that with the skills that I've possessed as walking through this, maybe exists in a job that isn't fully realized just yet, you know? Oh, I love it. Senior artists as well. Nako, Sahar, and Chris. Oh, I love it.
This is weird.
Picking up at 18. I got you, okay? I can tell you what's going on. That's the complete opposite way of doing it. You're never going to read that way.
Okay, you just read for me.
Yeah. So we have like some people that want to be senior artists. I think that it's interesting. So many of us are makeup artists that came in for the love of makeup, and like it's interesting to see the facets of our personality come out as we work for this brand, because I think a lot of people, they wouldn't even realize like, oh, I want to be like they don't come to Mac thinking like, I want to be a manager. I want to look at RevCals all freaking day. I want to make schedules. I want to do supply and display orders.
I think there are people who want to do those things.
I think though, as you like get into your space and you like expand yourself, you realize, wait, that's kind of a facet of my personality that I enjoy, and I think that it becomes more of a reality. But like, it's interesting to me, like the people who I've taught their basic training, and I'm like, I wonder what's gonna happen, and then they like get the management bug, or they get the training bug, or they get like the bug that, I want to do this. I want to do Fashion Week. I need to get to New York, and that's what's gonna happen. Like it's interesting to see how you come in with one goal in mind, and then your world really opens up. All right. Oh, a third key. Okay, third key is a great position. I think that a third key is a real unsung hero at the counter. We have trainers. Nicole said that she can't hear anything, but we look real good, so especially like that. Training was on her list once upon a time, but then she realized she didn't want to relocate to a different island. Totally. I think even with that, I think like training is in a space right now. Who knows what it'll be further down the line? Maybe training will be something that we could do almost more digitally all the time, and maybe you don't have to be in one space. Who knows? I think that there's a lot of things kind of we're all kind of figuring out this new landscape of beauty, of Mac, and I think that we'll see that positions evolve at the same time. Fashion Week is a dream. Well, I feel like Fashion Week is a dream for a lot of people. Like, and I will say, like, it's not something that's completely out of reach for people. I've known artists to go.
Yeah.
I think that you just need to make sure that you're in the right space. Or be very vocal. I think the more vocal you are with people that can get you to that space, the better. So like, tell your trainer 1,000 times. Make sure that your trainer is telling your RMAT. Make sure that if Iris comes in the market, you tell her like, all I want in my life is to go to Fashion Week. Like, it is so motivating to me. That's why I'm working hard. And people will remember that when opportunities come up and be like, oh, I remember, like, I want to do something special for them because they're busting their ass and I want to make sure that it's for what they want.
Yeah, that's all part of it. Definitely, there's that old adage, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like, always being vocal about things that you want or need, in your growth path, but also ensuring that you are putting in the work and working really hard to get there.
Totally.
And people say all the time, like, if there's a position or a job that you want, do that job already.
Totally true. Yeah, I feel like I always say, like, control the controllables, like, make sure that, like, if you're in an artist role but you want growth in some arena, you need to make sure that you are the best damn artist out there, because everyone going for that next job brings the skills of being an artist. So you have to control the things like your numbers, your productivity, your rapport with your team, the inspiration you bring, because everyone else is going to have that on your resume. Then it's about finding those additional things like, oh, BT Dubs, I want to be a third key, and at my location I've already been doing this, and this to prep me, so just so you know, it's going to be a smooth transition. Like, that's what really starts to get the ball rolling. But I agree, like, I think that squeaky wheel isn't always something that's easy for a lot of us. I think some people it comes real naturally, so simple. But like, with me, like, I almost feel like if I'm telling people what I want, like, there's like some weird fear or like insecurity that comes along with that. Like, are they gonna think I'm dumb for saying that? Or, oh, do I sound like, like, I don't know, just like, I want to be this. Like, I this weird insecurity comes over, but it really does nothing but hold me back. No one thinks that way but me. True. It's so weird. Like, I feel like these moments always like really make me think like, God, why don't I say this to this person? Why don't I fully give my idea? Like, what is my biggest fear? That someone's gonna think it sounds stupid? Why am I so scared of that?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm really looking to you to like solve my inner issues.
I mean, yeah, just like we said, like there's one part of it that is like being able to be vocal about what it is that you want and need, but also showing people that you
totally
need
yeah
as well.
Having the integrity behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Like, I know there are so many artists out there that probably think that like trainers come in, trainers come out, we don't really see that often, or maybe like we'll say hi, we'll see you and update, but because you work so hard at your location, we know your hard work does not go unnoticed. It may not be vocalized all the time, but I think that you're silently building your reputation every single day. And if you are doing a good job and you are putting in the hard work, people will know. And I know I feel, yeah, like sounding needy or pushy, like I'm so scared of that. But I think at the end of the day, like, you have to think like your MRSOs have a ton of people. Like, they have so many people that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. They're getting a call from this person. They gotta talk to HR here. They gotta go do this email. They have this conference call. So I think that by them having an honest conversation with you and saying like, where do you want to go? And you saying like, listen, I'm working really hard because I want this. It's really refreshing for them. And it isn't like they're going to be like, oh my God, that was the most annoying conversation ever.
No,
it's going to be like,
not.
oh great, I know where one of my people wants to go. I want to get them there, because at the end of the day, when you achieve your goals, it makes all of us look better.
I think with that, once you're in the position that you have wanted and somebody recognizes that potential in you and gives you the opportunity, it is really important to ensure that you are taking all of that in and learning and being so open to the feedback and growth, because they've given you this opportunity for growth, and you have to figure out like what is your next step and work towards that. And I think we were talking about being third key. Third key was probably the hardest, but also most rewarding management position that I have ever been in. Because you have the highest goal, you spend the most time on the sales floor, and you have to lead and empower and inspire your peers. And I think there's so much about that allows you to kind of figure out who you are in that leadership role, and it really does prepare you for management, going into operations if that's what you want, or even training.
Yeah.
Like, being a third key was, again, like the hardest but also the most rewarding position. So I would recommend anybody who wants growth, definitely, going the third key route.
I agree. Like, I think that, when I look back a lot on my path, it's gotten me to where I am, but I do think, like, if I would have gone into a position like that, it would have so greatly prepared me for my job now. And I think it's just about building a reference book of knowledge, like putting yourself in new situations so you know how to handle things. We've talked about it a lot on these, like the confidence and experience in doing new things is what really pushes you forward. And I think that being in roles like that really, really do that for you. But I will tell you, when I first became a resident trainer, which we don't even have those anymore. So like that was my kind of way to find the roles of training, but it was a big learning curve for me. I had to have a lot of tough feedback all the time because I didn't have the verbiage to speak to managers and feel like I connected with them. I only knew how to connect with artists because that's what I was. I didn't necessarily know how to finesse my feedback. I didn't necessarily feel super confident in giving see it, say it. Like things like that, if I would have been in a third key role, would have made it a lot easier. I had to learn on the job, and it was like being pushed into the deep end without floaties, which is not necessarily my best learning style, and like leaves a lot of stress and a lot of alcohol at the end of the night, So I think that, taking a step into the next direction may seem really scary, or maybe not seem like it's right in the line of the path that you want to go, but it can be a perfect thing to prepare you and to get more knowledge for you.
But even though we don't have the resident trainer position anymore, could you imagine not having been a resident trainer and going straight into regional trainer?
I think about 10, and I think about like her role. Has it changed for like in between our two? I don't even know. I feel like I would have just like cried every day. Like I don't even know what would have happened, like it's such a different space. But like 10 also was a third key at the biggest volume door within the market. She had been through a lot of things that had prepared her, but I think that that's also something to speak, like if you know what, I want to be a third key. Let's talk with people about what you need to do now to make sure that you have your role totally down. And now let's talk about the next steps. If you want to be a trainer, okay, there's no longer a resident trainer position, so how do we succession plan you to be ready to jump into something? Because if I thought I was pushed into the deep end without floaties, you're gonna be pushed into like an Olympic sized pool that's like 18 feet deep, and you got ankle weights on, and you have to have your arm tied behind your back, and you only got this one, like it's a totally different world. So how can we start that path so that it seems like a easier transition, or you understand kind of what you're getting yourself into?
Yep, and asking for that, for those opportunities.
It has to, because I think it's not even that we don't want to provide that to you. We're trainers of regions, so we have all these different people to work with, and you're constantly every day trying to assess what's going on in a business, help that manager figure out how to better implement their business. You're working with this artist on their certification. You're thinking about basic follow-up. Sometimes we don't have a magic crystal ball to say, oh yeah, you want this, you want to be developed this way, this is what you want your path to be. It's so much easier if you're like, hey, this is what I want, what can you provide for me? And I'm like, girl, boy, I'm providing it all. Like whatever you need, I got you. I pulled a brush and I don't know where it is.
Okay, well, you try to find your brush.
There it is.
I think
I feel like people are just listening. They're just involved in the combo. Unless this sometimes, it gets a little crazy and it'll turn off, or like sometimes things won't load. So just know, like, technical difficulties exist within the PacWest training facility.
Fine.
Has the time come for your tutorial on?
Are we ready for lashes?
I don't know. I just feel like we got to give the people what they want, right?
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, so. Perfect. I'll do one side, show you guys, and then answer any questions that you may have.
They're soaking it all in, aiming to all of this. I know, I'm like, are people still there? Did they just like die? But thank you for letting us know.
Spoon.
Spoon.
You want something that has a little bit more of a flat edge on the spoon. If it's a little rounded, it's going to be a little harder to get the curl that you want. So just find the smallest, flattest angled spoon in your grandma's silverware drawer, and you'll be good.
Have you had that spoon for a long, like, did you find that spoon and now it's like your spoon forever, or do you switch them up?
I've gone through many a spoon.
Oh.
So I've had probably maybe 10
How many
different
spoons in your life? So you've been promiscuous with your spoons.
I have. But I've had this one for a really long time now, and it definitely is the best. So the idea is being able to curl your lashes the way that you would curl a ribbon with scissors. So you're going to lay your lashes in between your thumb and the spoon, like so.
Like so, but they can't see that at all. It's kind of crazy looking at it.
And it doesn't hurt.
I know, I think that's what it is. I just feel like I'm gonna put too much pressure and pull all my eyelashes out.
Well, yeah, you definitely don't need a lot of pressure at all. You just want to run the spoon over the hair, and it just causes them to curl back on themselves.
Everyone's freaking dying over this spoon. They're like, I haven't seen it in forever. My cousins curl their lashes. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We got, what you call your donkey lash? What?
Baby cow lashes. Donkey. What's a donkey lash?
Don't donkeys got lashes like that?
Probably.
Yeah. Burro? Is that how you say it?
So, donkey lash. Lashes curled with a spoon.
Someone just, you know what it is? It's because in Update the other day, someone said that they had donkey lashes. So it's not, I didn't just like look at you and think donkey.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, pretty easy.
I want to see which way this spoon is facing.
Oh, okay, so this way. So the rounded spoon is on the top part of the thumb. I'll show you on this side. Maybe I can just do it like this.
The rounded, oh, okay. So you're using the side, not the point, right?
Yes, using the side.
Okay, and so the, what is that, concave? Concave?
I don't know. Stalactite, stalagmite?
You didn't go to ITC?
No.
Yeah, like it's like the concave is facing outward and you're using the edge.
Yeah.
And it looks like your thumb is in your eyeball.
It's
is
not,
that supposed
though.
to happen?
No, my thumb's not in my eye. It's just resting underneath.
It really did look like your whole thumb was in your eyeball.
And then when you get to the inner corner, that's where you can use the tip so it gets all those little baby inner corner hairs.
Oh my god, Martha, I was using that when I couldn't afford an eyelash curler.
No need for shoe
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She's beauty and she's grace.
But it definitely works.
Yeah, no, totally. That's like a giant. I do see what you're talking about, how it creates like a curl and not a crimp.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever find, because like, I don't, okay, so I lied to you earlier. I have curled a ribbon or two in my life. I don't need to do it all the time, but sometimes when I curl a ribbon, like it goes kind of like flat and curl. Sometimes it's like so curl. Like, do you ever find that your lashes are like, rah, or do they always have like a pretty natural?
I think there have been times where I've gotten a little crazy where they like curl back up on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel like you've called me out on that before.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember it, but I was just, yeah, like it seems like it could go pretty crazy. And I'm an extra kind of girl. So I feel like I would run the risk of
getting real crazy with it.
Yeah, like super curl.
Yeah, and then I mean, you wear lashes almost every day, so if you
every day.
over curl them, then you're gonna have a hard time getting a lash to sit on top of that.
I know. that's my struggle. Okay. So also you were an interim trainer, yes?
Yes.
So what was that like? Because I feel like you too can have the MAC hairpin. It's on Etsy. Personalized, $12 from China. It just takes a while to come, but yeah, gotta represent. So I know that there's a lot of people actually, like, there's a lot of interim positions that become available, whether they're in your own store or within the market. You know, they have kids, they go places, whatever happens to get interims. What was that experience like for you?
It was amazing. It was scary. But it was a phenomenal experience to just get like a tidbit, like a day in the life of.
Yeah, like a for real one too.
And whether it's like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or like 3 months, whatever that interim position looks like for you or what's available, I definitely would recommend doing it and giving it a go. I think there was something that was a little heartbreaking for me because I was interim like 2 or 3 times before I actually got the resident trainer position. And so having to go back to being a third key after being a trainer for like 3 months or 6 months.
That was a hard reality.
That was really, really hard for me.
What did you, what did you do? Like, did you just like sit and be like, oh, I hope that, this becomes a real thing? Or did you say like, all right, like I'm here, like buckle up and like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I still wanted to do well in my position. But after, God, I think it was like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I was like, my heart can't take this anymore. Trainer or resident trainer, going back to being management in a pro store, trainer back to being management.
Yeah.
So after my 3rd time going back, I had actually decided to step down in hours, and had signed up to go to cosmetology school. And the day that I had my orientation was supposed to be that evening, I had gotten a call that said that there would be a permanent position available.
Isn't that crazy how that freaking works?
And so, yeah, I was like, everything just sort of fell into place. And here I am.
You were like, hell yeah, I'll take that.
But,
yeah, because I can only imagine, because like I remember doing my first resident trainer interview, not getting it, but getting far. And so thinking like the next one was mine and then doing really bad on that. And just that, like knowing, like, because I was in the 2nd round of my first one, so I figured like, oh, I'm next in line. Like it's going to happen. And going to an interview and not getting it and then being like, oh, like I already had written my future and it's not there. I can only imagine being in the role and having to go back, because I know like even Nicole was only an interim for like 6 days at one point, but even then she was just like, how do I go back? So that's an interesting struggle that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because not a lot of people have had to go through it, but I think it might be like more and more movement in our doors. And
it was a little bit of a struggle, but I'm also so happy and fortunate that I had that experience.
Yeah.
Because now, having been in training for, God, 7, 8 years, like it just makes it that much more real, powerful.
Totally. Are you let me find the right term. Are you the most tenured trainer on your team right now?
I don't think so.
No?
I think,
with your interim and everything, like, do you think that?
I don't know, actually.
Because I am, and I think like it's such a weird world to be in now as well. Like to go from being the noob or like that interim to now being one of the tenured trainers, and like really having now to like look at who's gonna move into our space. You know, like we've gone through that life of like being new, then figuring your stuff out, then mastering your craft, and now looking to the next step. Like now I'm like constantly looking like, who would be a good addition to our team? Who would be a good person to fill my space to round things out? But I was just wondering if it was similar, because we've both been in training a very similar amount of time.
Right.
But you do have, like, I feel like you're up there though. I was gonna say if you're the oldest person on your training team, but then I didn't mean it like that in like age, and we all know the answer to that. So
I actually do think I'm the oldest person on my training team.
You do think? We all know, girl. Yeah, I think that it's a cool. I think that whenever I hear people's stories, whenever I hear people's journeys, and I love that I even got to hear that about you, because I feel like we talk about so much and I didn't know parts of your journey. It's so interesting to see how different everyone's is, and how there's no one way to get to the job that you want. But I think that a lot of consistent themes run through our journeys are the themes of like, really like being open to feedback and like mastering your craft, really waiting for the right time and the right team when it feels right. Like all those things come up in all of the stories that I hear. Like I think a lot of people just think like it's gonna happen, or because I'm ready, the world is ready, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. And sometimes you think, oh my gosh, I'm ready to be a trainer now, and it doesn't happen for 5 years, and you look back and you're like, dang, I really needed those 5 years. I really needed to grow, maybe not even as an artist, maybe I had that down, but I needed to grow as a human to do this, like even in talking to Esther, like she talks about her time frame, and I remember she was interviewing for a trainer when I was back in the day, and then she took some time to just find her, and it has made her such a valuable player, because it brings such a different aspect to the job, because she is who she is now,
And I think we always talk about like wearing the trainer hat, and if that is something that you want to do, you have tons of opportunity as an artist or a third key assistant manager, store manager, to wear the trainer hat and be able to coach and develop and teach the people around you how to be better makeup artists, or how to better be able to connect with people to be a better makeup artist.
Which I think is so valuable to say, because I think that a lot of us look at skill and look at customer interaction, but like don't connect the dots with that connection, and realize that by you being able to speak to people and to have empathy with people makes your craft better, which I don't think people look at makeup as its own separate entity and customer service as its own separate entity, but they don't realize, like, even if you weren't in a retail space, makeup is about connecting with people. Absolutely. You look at any celebrity makeup artist, it's about how they've connected with that person to make the overall job or craft better.
Being able to connect with somebody is more important than being able to cut a jam and crease or do a wig and liner. For me, I think anyway.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, because I think that with doing a jam and crease or a liner, it's instant gratification. You feel good about your skill in that moment. I think with figuring out the subtle nuances of people and how to connect, it's a little, you can't just wipe it off your face with a wipe, like you have to go through those feelings, which can be really scary. But I think once you get there, once you know, like I look at my ability to connect with people now in comparison to when I first started with MAC, and I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
Like I was the biggest wallflower introvert. People would think that I didn't like my job because
I don't know this you.
I like when we go out, it's not like I'm like chatting with Kathy. I don't go around the bar just talking to everybody. Like I let you do that, and then I'm like, hi, I'll talk to you too. But I can do that now. You can leave, like my friends can leave at a bar, and I can have a conversation with a stranger in a way that I couldn't before, because I was like, so
yeah,
what are you drinking? Like that was it.
I'm even proud of you for most recently just even calling the property management company to get help with the sprinklers. Because you would always leave that for me to do.
You shouldn't be proud of me because I didn't call them. I just wrote on their board again. But I wrote on their board as a very angry person. So I think that's why they took me. I'm still working towards that.
I take it back.
You're not proud of me at all.
Never mind.
Yeah, I think that these skills, like when you really look back at how you've changed as a person, like, yeah, that knowing that you can do makeup is rad, and like it's very valuable, and there's no discount to that. But knowing that you've grown as a person and you have skills to do, and like I could talk to anybody. I could talk in front of 60,000 people or 6 people or 1 person. That makes me feel very proud in my soul.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes being able to, I don't know if you feel this way, but being able to talk to or present to a crowd of strangers is easier
absolutely
than having to just get to know somebody one-on-one.
1,000,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're talking to a crowd, it just becomes a conglomerate of things. Like you're not even. There's maybe that one person that's giving you a smile, so you're like, all right, that's cool, but like you leave and you don't really know. When you're with one person, you see you feel the awkwardness, you feel it all. And like, granted, when there's awkwardness with a giant crowd, it sucks. But I agree, like it's so much harder. It's just a different set of skills, you know. But it's funny too, because I feel like we don't talk about this stuff all that often. Like we don't talk about how we feel. Like it almost sometimes feels like we're bragging, or like, I don't know, when we talk about how proud we are of ourselves for learning something. And I find like this is our space to be able to do that. And I want you guys to feel like, if you say, like, as you're messaging, like, yeah, I've really grown. Like, I know how to help customers now, or I am really good at my job. That's not us being like, really? You are? Like, let's see, like, you think you're really pretty? You know, like, that's not what this space is. It's for us to celebrate that. Like, good job for putting in the work and finding your way to a place that you feel really confident in yourself. Like, I don't know that as even a culture, we provide a lot of those spaces for people to be like, I'm jamming, and people to not be like, well, you're not that jamming. Let me, like, you know, like, I feel like we're so quick to be like, are you really jamming, you know? And I think that this space and this community of even Mac family is one where we should feel safe to do that.
Yeah, I definitely would be more about celebrating an artist feeling super confident about their connecting skills and being able to like really make their customers feel like they're a part of the Mac family. Then like that was just a beautiful jam and makeup, you know?
Well, and I think it's hard for me because I think I want to celebrate both. But I think that that's what's so interesting about our world is that you need both to be successful. And one doesn't overpower the other. And I think that when you allow one to overpower the other in your mindset, that's when you really struggle. When you think that a liner is more important than the person in front of you, that's when you have the struggle, you know? And I think that that's what makes the Mac family so interesting, and I think what makes all of you guys such an amazing group of people is that you have mastered not only your craft, like there are the sickest makeup artists that I've seen out there, but on top of that, people that when someone comes into their store, they light up in their face and they're so excited to talk to them. Like I was like in Pro the other day, and Blake was doing the most beautiful makeup. He had like this like gorgeous like mauve-y moment, and this girl, like she comes in all the time, and he just like, she was going somewhere, he's like, let's just do some makeup. And it was this fun connection that I felt comfortable enough to go in and have a good time with these people. And her daughter came in and sat down, and like that was such like the pinnacle of wrapping a bow on what we do, because it was making someone feel so comfortable that they allowed themselves to feel beautiful. And I mean, she ended up buying stuff at the end, which of course is an aspect of it in this business, but I think that she didn't even think like, oh, I'm spending money. She thought like, oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this brand. That's why I've been with this brand for as long as I have, because you have, I mean, Pride is the perfect example of that. It's just being able to celebrate people. You know, and Pride wasn't really about the makeup. It was just about having a great time and connecting with people.
Yeah, making people feel like they belong.
Yeah.
Because they do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting glitter all over my face and I only want it in one area. Hairpin, Etsy, that's where it is. Some of my best friends are my customers. It's all about building relationships. I love that. I think that, you know, we all build relationships in a lot of different ways, and I think that there's a bunch of people who have become friends with their customers. I think about Esther for sure. She, like, we'll go somewhere and she knows everybody. Like, we just went to Tender Greens one day in, like, Irvine by Nomac location, and where were we? Or in Tustin. We were somewhere. And this girl pulls up in her car, she's like, oh my God, Esther! And like, she just has been able to connect with people like that. Whereas I'm a little more guarded, which, you know, like in going through these, I don't want to be. Like, I feel like I always like think about, God, why am I not like that more? I've made friends with some of my customers, but I think that I can plus it, and I need to be better about that. And so thank you for bringing that up, because it just forces me to be like, girl, just give a hug. Like, even at the end of updates, sometimes I'm just like, I'm bad at goodbyes, okay, see ya, and like, I walk out of the room because I don't know what to do, but like, I need to just like, swallow the bullet and like, connect with people a little bit more. Like, I have work to do there.
Has anybody ever called you a mean girl?
Wait, you've called me a mean girl. No, I think that that's, it comes with the territory. Like, you look, I mean, even I notice it so much when I go to the gym after work. Like, I go to the gym, I'm wearing this, like, I'm all done up. Everyone else just looks like they ran, you know, like the Ironman competition. They look like they're dying, like they just are like not at their, you know, going out best. And I can see people looking at me, formulating their judgment of who they think I am based on what I look like there. And so if you pair that with, we are wearing black, we like are this huge family, we're joking, like I think that people already think they know something, and then when I come to the table being a little bit more of a wallflower or being introverted, people's perception of that isn't like, oh, you know what, she's probably a really soft soul, she just is observing. They're like, she doesn't want to talk to me. Yeah. She's one of those girls, you know? And I think that it's taken a lot of time for me to realize like how people perceive things, because it's not what you're putting out there. Like, I would never want people to ever feel like I was, you know, mean or anything, but it's just what they gather from what's out there. So it's like, you have to think, man, it is my persona putting out, I want to talk to you, I want to get to know you, I'm approachable, and like, you can feel safe with me, or do I have to put extra out there to let you know that? Do I have to and I think
you do have to put extra effort out.
Girl, I put all the extra. But no, I think that it's really, it changes the way, like, I'm that person in store. Like, I'm not gonna wait for somebody to come up to me and ask me if I can help them. I have to be that first person to walk up to them and be like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
What's going on? Because if I don't, I'm gonna be that girl that doesn't care about them potentially. And that's not how I feel. So I have to actively think, oh, standing back here, what are people thinking about that? You know, and granted, you can't control everything, but at least I can have some self-reflection and know where I can move things around to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because welcoming has always been something that we are constantly talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, it is one of the most prominent complaints that we get from our consumer.
Well, and spoiler alert, we're talking about it again this update, so get ready.
Just ruined update for everybody.
Yeah, it don't even show up anymore. Like,
but it is a thing. So I think that's a great thing for you to recognize and even share on this. Is that something that you struggle with? That's part of your personality, you know, and what that could look like for the customer, and you having to put yourself out there and work a little harder in order to make that customer feel really comfortable, you know, and it might be uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
But that's what we do.
But at the end of the day, I'm at work, and it's not my customer's job to make me comfortable. It's my job to think, how do I make this a better experience for them? And I think that that's, you know, like, I've realized that I do have to act a little bit. I have to turn it on. Like, if I was just my typical self at a training, you guys might not take as much. I definitely put on the charm and like put on my facilitator, hat to really be there, I got to do the same on the floor. And what's interesting is the more that you put that hat on, the more that becomes who you are. And I think that's why I now better can connect with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Man, that was a lot.
That was a lot. It was good though.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. What else did you do? I tuned out after.
Just my usual. I think, like, for those of you who know me, I'm definitely a faux freckle kind of boy. I do love freckles and I love moles. And my freckles are constantly moving around my face.
I love that you said moles. I don't think that a lot of people talk about loving that part of it. They call it like a beauty mark or something.
Yeah.
I think that it's good to hear someone recognize that perfect imperfection on a face.
Yeah, I mean, I think moles are cute. Freckles are cute. Scars are cute. Like, those are all part of a face that make you unique and different. And if you don't have them, you can paint them on, like me. But yeah, I'll make a mole. I used the Shape and Shade Brow Tint in Spiked. This color's a little too dark for freckles, but I just kind of play with where I want my moles to go. Sometimes I get a little carried away.
Yeah.
And I end up looking like a German Shepherd. They got all those cute little black spots all over their face. All dogs go to heaven. No.
Why'd you bring that up too soon?
If I have a zit, I'll just make it into a mole.
Beauty hack right there. Oh, 10. Aren't you in Hawaii still? Are you listening to some Mele Kalikimaka right now?
Oh, 10's in Hawaii?
Mm-hmm. Not in Hawaii. Yeah, I agree. I do like a faux freckle. I find too, because I do have some beauty marks, but I wear a fuller coverage, so sometimes I'll put them on top of the makeup to be like, it's not that full. You can still see my beauty mark through.
Yeah, it does create a little bit of a realness to a makeup.
Okay.
But yeah, I think
no, it looks good. I like your boy beat.
I feel good about this.
Yeah.
This is good every day.
All right, we got 4 more minutes. So, when do you come back, girl? So I think you've already given a lot of good tidbits here, but if you had to leave the people with one thing, what would you leave them with?
I would say that
I kind of put you on the spot there because I need to do my lip liner.
That's okay. Yeah. It shows in your work. Your dedication definitely shows in what you bring to the table and how hard you work. And it's not going to be easy. It shouldn't be easy. Anything that is a little bit more difficult or challenging is only going to make you that much stronger and better on the other side of that.
And appreciate the end result.
And I think, yes, definitely being vocal about what it is that you want and need, but showing and proving that you are deserving of the development and the investment as well. And I think that's something that I've learned in my MAC career.
Yeah, I think leaning on your family, leaning on your MAC family. If you want to do something or go somewhere, not only making it vocal, but I think a lot of times we exist within our small little bubble, but if I didn't, I feel like the relationship that we've built has been it's been so great because I have somebody that I can connect with fully and really somebody that understands my life, and it's such a blessing to have somebody that truly gets that. And I feel like because I've been able to speak to you, I get to speak to your team, and it's created a big family that I can really rely on for support, for if I'm having challenges, for solutions, for a laugh, for a vent. And that's really I think helped me make my way through and find my journey and not be so foggy by other things. It's really, the support has really been a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. We challenge each other, we motivate each other, we inspire each other, we're there for each other when things might be a little difficult or challenging. And that wouldn't have happened if it wouldn't have been for MAC.
Totally.
You know?
All right. Well, with that, I love getting out of your comfort zone. I remember watching an episode of Girls, and it was like, this is your comfort zone. This is where the magic happens, right there. So this has been so fun. We're running out of time, and it's such a bummer, but we had such a blast talking with you guys. Thank you so much for being on this.
Thanks for coming. This is great.
I love you guys so much. If you have anything additionally to say, please DM us. Feel free to give Danny a follow, even some of the Southwest handles. There's a few of them, so he can let you know. So DM him if you have any questions. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for always starting my week off amazing. Thank you for starting my week off amazing. I love you all.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
My heart is so full. This will be on YouTube tomorrow. I'll leave it up for